You will never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Hello there. This is General Grievous, and you are watching the Cantina Club.
Hey everybody, Carillion Trader here with our wrap-up of the Book of Boba Fett, the season finale for season 1. We do our reaction video first, just like last week. The format is a little different than the standard episode. So if you've already seen the reaction part, once you get done with this, fast forward it to roughly 15 minutes or so, and then you can get into our actual breakdown of the episode, our thoughts, what we thought of the whole season as a whole, our ratings, and so forth. All right, guys, enjoy.
We all know round here, Solo always does shots first. Singing Yup Nub, raise your glass and sing Yup Nub. Sing it with me, Yup Nub. At the Cantina Club.
Ready?
Yep.
Okay, and 3, 2, 1, play.
Click. Let's do this. It looks like the streets are improving.
Wow.
Well, we protected the hell out of this.
Yeah, what a great job we did.
You can tell Cobb Vanth himself when he arrives here with the reinforcements.
If you want to abandon Mos Espa and hide in your fortress, go ahead.
Okay.
We're staying. The people who
And we love rock and roll.
Old man.
So put another dime in that jukebox. At least he's projecting confidence and arrogance, but yeah. Some villainy. You'd better not be jacking my rims.
I think I have an idea how to draw Boba Fett out.
He's such a badass.
Yeah, he is. Wow.
I love him.
The name of
honor.
All right.
What in the name? One more.
Oh.
Holy shit! Really?
Oh, wow.
Excuse me.
Right away?
That didn't take long. Doesn't look like there's anybody in it.
Yeah.
I think R2 was piloting it. Oh. What?
Fly an X-Wing already. I know an astromech flew the ship. Slow down. Give me a second. You just got here.
In other news, Jedi Master faces charges for reckless endangerment.
Grogu? Whoa, that's a terrible name.
Oh.
Delicious. Just dig right in. Oh, yeah, he likes that.
Wow.
There you go.
Hard pass.
Yeah. And the bonus, they're parasitic. Our neon glowing bikes.
The Gamorrean guards are posted in the Clactunian territory. Arrive.
That's as subtle as Lando on the skiff, nodding to Luke.
Yeah. Yeah.
These idiots, I swear. I'm sorry. These wonderful characters
Yes, they're amazing.
that are so in place.
Drash and Scad are
Who?
with the other mods.
Trash
Rely
and
on the
Scad.
workers to-
Can Pelly rename everyone? Oh, here we go. Let's get it on. Let's get it on.
Throw down.
He always starts every conversation looking at his boots.
Yep.
I love Cad Bane. That smirk he just gave was great.
Mm-hmm.
He's awesome. That is very much like his body motion too from Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Where he slapped the coat down like that.
Yeah, they've got it nailed. Will someone shoot him, please?
I think he's going to the rank for.
Wonder how much you would pay for the toy.
Many pardons. I should never have interjected.
This guy just carries the humor of The Last Jedi with him everywhere he goes.
The locals are attacking.
Wow.
I thought we had a treaty.
I was gonna say, look, even the Aqualish are firing against.
Ooh.
He doesn't
You
like
say
you.
your characters are stupid. You're not popular on the internet. And we're gonna kill you. Oh damn. They're coming for him with the knives out.
Something.
This is like a weekend in Arkansas backwoods. It's dogs versus pigs. No. Oh.
Oh.
Gristle. Say it ain't so.
Oh.
Oh my God, that guy took it literally. I would too. I'd do whatever Fennec Shan told me to
Yeah,
do.
pretty much.
Oh. They actually found some use for that idiot.
Yeah.
His talking brought everybody out in the street.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh. Yeah.
Mistake. Oh,
Oh.
that guy
Wow.
Kente guy. He was still firing on his way down. They give this girl more dramatic close-ups for no reason.
I know.
Any
Yeah.
character ever.
It's not
She's the-
developed.
She needs her own theme music. I mean, and it needs to be Joan Jett. There's no other.
It does need to be Joan Jett.
Welcome to the team, Chris Sutton.
Santo, I have to confess, I thought you were gone. I owe you a nice long soak in the back to tank with.
Fuck you.
We got real problems.
Holy mackerel! What are those?
I have no
Really?
idea.
Oh.
Oh,
Mega Destroyer droids.
giant droidicas.
They look like they're made of Beskar too.
Yeah.
I mean, they're
Well,
not.
they
I'm
got
sure,
force
but
fields
they look
anyway,
that way.
so I guess it doesn't matter what they're made out of.
Yeah, come on.
Oh,
Let's get to it.
Oh.
whoops.
Still heavy.
I can't get through. Can this thing go any faster?
Go faster, you fucking false!
Things are so much better in Mos Espa since Boba Fett took over.
Hey, Lando! Look who's here!
Hey, what are you doing here?
Oh,
Good to see you too. I didn't know when I'd
see you again.
Oh, you hear Baby Yoda screaming.
Yeah.
I like how the droids turn into clams again.
Yeah. Oh, did you hear that?
The Bogullet.
Nope. It's a Ranka.
It's
Ranka.
It's a Ranka.
It's a Ranka.
I gotta turn up my volume for this.
It's the pure brute force to take them down. Just do size and brute force.
He's trying to love it right there.
Oh. Yes.
Nasty.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
That's nasty how it uses its legs as weapons.
Ooh.
He just needs to name this Rancor Respect. Get a rule of respect.
That's what I meant all along.
Oh.
Oh, one of you guys is getting eaten.
Oh,
I don't know which one. Crush him, squish him. Oh, cold-blooded.
Wow.
There you go.
Oh, there we go.
Should have taken one for the team and had a thermal detonator in his hand.
Uh-oh.
It's personal.
Oh.
Now's about the time you.
Looking pretty limber for an old man.
Wow.
You tried to go straight, but you've got your father. You're a killer.
Oh!
Yes!
Oh! Ooh. Ooh, damn. Any chances vital organs aren't there? Damn, is that the end of Cad Bane right there?
Oh my god.
Wow.
Oh.
He pushed it too far.
Oh, what a great shot.
He lost his hat.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Kong.
I was going to say, we've got King Kong now.
No.
A TIE fighter's gonna show up and start strafing him. Yeah, didn't work.
Oh!
Put him through the planet.
I am loving the Rancor. Don't worry. Oh! Spoke too soon.
Spoke too soon. Hey kid, don't mess around. So close to that.
Yeah, one of them.
Oh. The first time ever Grogu shows compassion for something.
Oh!
Oh!
On to the next hut.
Master Assassin. Oh,
Mando's out.
Mando theme. Ah,
There he is.
yeah.
Yep.
Oh, you can't mess with him as much anymore.
All right.
All right, he just gives in. Oh.
Wow.
Oh, the Rancor.
Cad Bane is dead. Wow.
I'm sorry, Carillion. How do you feel about that?
I figured it was going to happen. Yeah.
You did.
I did get this weird flash when he said the back tank's being used that maybe he put Bane in there. I don't know why he would. You don't save
No,
your
I
enemy,
think he's
but
dead. Yeah, and
No, I think
you don't
yeah.
save your arch nemesis like that.
no.
they made him the kind of thing he had to overcome when he brought up all
Yeah,
his
it was
weaknesses and stuff.
It was his dark alter ego.
I get the
He
feeling
had to
if we had
destroy
more
him.
Clone Wars, there would have been more there
Yeah.
establishing that relationship.
Right. Like I said, even one of the deleted story arcs was Boba versus Bane, you know?
Yeah. It's like he's the bad uncle or something. You know?
Yeah.
Oh. Now we see who's in the back to tank.
Techno music.
Oh,
Ah.
Cobb
Yeah, Cobb Vanth. Oh, and there's the mod.
Oh, he's gonna be.
He's gonna get the full treatment.
Oh no.
Is anybody watching this dude? Is he supposed to be there? Well, was that the after credits scene, you think?
I don't know, maybe.
Yeah.
We'll have to wait and see if we get one more. So, episode, well, the season finale, what do we think? What are our thoughts overall? Who wants to go first?
I'm gonna wait.
Oh, okay. What about you, Greedo? What about you, Greedo? This is the way.
I feel like this is the way for me to be the target and step out in front and get those melons thrown at me from the slow speed chase. Okay. I've only seen it the one time with you guys. Watching it together is different than watching it and actually kind of analyzing it because we were joking and laughing and enjoying the experience. To me, it felt like the whole show. It felt like a disjointed. Parts are great, parts are McClunky, and the Boba Fett you've been getting all along is the Boba Fett they pretty much established by the end. He's walking around with his helmet off. There's no more mystery, and he's respected man and hero to the people. You called it, Carillion. You said it was going to be Robin Hood, and
that's basically it.
The reason I feel this whole thing was disjointed is because, again, they're waiting till the end to tell us important things like Boba Fett said, our people are dying from the spice. Well, this would have been good to know in episode 1.
Right.
So that I would know it's bad. Because, spice being a drug analogy could be bad and everything. But if you're a criminal planet, say you're Colombia or something, sure, it wrecks things and it's terrible for the people, but it's also their income. It provides them a living, and it. I'm
a double-edged sword.
Yeah. I don't know enough to be. I'm speaking out of ignorance, so don't take my real world analogy as being real. But I'm just saying, people have a point when we don't know the bad side of spice, and we know it's illegal for whatever reason. But the Empire made freedom illegal. So
right.
I just would have liked a statement of facts going into the series that somebody felt like somebody should have edited, and it wouldn't feel as disjointed, where I'm learning facts at the end. So there was great moments. The whole Rancor sequence was top notch and totally badass. But there's something a little off, there's still a disjointed feeling. And I hate to say it, I don't want to be a downer about these mod characters, but I feel like they are a distraction in every scene they're in.
Yeah.
And it takes me out of it. I just haven't accepted them yet. And I blame the show, not the characters, because the show needs to show us more of them and bring us onto their side at some point earlier. And we've just gotten enough flashes of them to still be jarring. That we haven't seen enough to make us root for them or to make us accept them. If we saw the people reacting to them in a certain way or why they're doing what they're doing, like I said, if they were rebelling against their parents, if they were persecuting, if they were orphans and this is the way they found community, anything, other than just they're weirdos who like to replace their body parts for whatever reason. And it's just when a character keeps getting close-ups and zoom close-ups and framing action shots, and I don't know why. It draws your attention the wrong way to me. It leaves me wondering why is she important? I don't see what they're not showing me. She's getting a lot of focus, but I don't know why she's important. And I barely remember her name until they said it this episode, and the other guys, the main two mods.
Can I jump in there?
Yeah.
The problem with the mods also kind of affected the battle, especially at the beginning. I thought the battle was kind of underwhelming until the Rancor came in, because you got the mods and then you've got the people from Freetown showing up, which I thought was going to be a major intervention, but there's only 5 to 10.
Yeah, there's like 7 in an RV.
Yeah.
They piled in an RV for a weekend trip to Mos Espa.
It's just only a few people, it seemed. I wish they had pulled out the stops, and had more people, at least more people involved. But like you said, the mods, we could have been drawn more into it, even with lesser numbers, if the mods had personality to them, if we cared for them. And by giving characters like the girl mod, and I don't even know her name, that says a lot that I can't remember her name. By giving
names
her,
are very simple,
Yeah,
we should know them.
Giving her attention in the camera like that, they're implying that we ought to be emotionally invested in her, but they haven't given any backstory or character development.
No, she's just a
look. That. Yeah.
Right.
So their involvement in the battle is maybe actually a detriment to the power of the battle sequences at the beginning. But when the Rancor came in, it was great. I was a little bit disappointed that the Rancor didn't get to eat more people. I wanted Boba Fett specifically to feed someone. I wanted Boba Fett to choose someone and feed that person to the Rancor. I wanted more brutality from Boba. And that's the other thing that really bothered me about this episode. Like you said, it felt disjointed. I feel like, and we got the same Boba kind of that we were getting all along. I feel like it didn't, while it was interesting that it brought in Cad Bane as part of his overall emotional development and moral development to leadership role, still he wasn't badass enough. I feel like it kind of disempowered him, because more of the other characters were doing things that I felt like he should have been doing, making decisions that he should have been making.
You talking about Boba Fett?
Yes, everybody else was making decisions for him. It was like, so I still didn't feel like he stepped up into the role of a leader fully.
No, Finnick was leading everything.
Yeah.
From day one,
and I have a feeling this is where that interview came in where he said, give the lines to Ming. I think they just dumped a lot of exposition on her, not thinking about necessarily how it would look. Let her deliver these lines and be the strategist and all that. But like I said, it struck me as ridiculous that Boba Fett shows up with her. They're looking over the ruins, and she goes, "Oh, and by the way, we've enacted this whole strategy. Everybody's on board, and you were asleep. You were dozed off at the meeting, and we didn't wake you up or something." It's the first. I know they have to tell the audience, so she has to be telling someone. But Mando just showed up, so she could be telling him. Boba Fett could have said, a Finnick, bring him up to speed.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
And just one line, you would have fixed that.
Yep.
They just didn't think about it, I don't think. And you're right. To me, like, this episode was the whole show of the Tatooine storyline, not the Tusken storyline, but the nowadays, the whatever time,
the present day timeline,
the present day timeline all rolled into one episode. It had the same weaknesses and the same strengths. And unfortunately, the strongest part of that story was the Tuscan part in my mind. And that's non-existent, except for the very callback at the end where he kind of merged that lessons he learned in overcoming, Cad Bane at the end.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I guess if you're watching a reaction video, we don't have to say spoilers.
No. Okay, I have a question.
I want to hear first of all, I want to hear what was your opinion? You didn't say.
Okay, overall, honestly, I agree almost completely with what you said, Greedo. I think this episode was like an encapsulation of the entire series. It was really good in parts, really in parts. And to reflect what Gundark said, it was pretty underwhelming. I thought the battle, until the Rancor shows up. Once we got our Ranka, it got better, and it was more interesting. Overall, like I said, it was a good episode, but it wasn't like, it didn't feel like the last two episodes felt. When I got it done, I was just like, wow, it's like, that was incredible.
Yeah, they didn't take enough risks.
I get it now.
Pretty much by the numbers.
Yeah, and there was definitely some really cool fight scenes. We did get to see Boba finally kick some butt, and a few scenes there during the fight, which was nice. Not just the Rancor stuff, but before that.
No, yeah, him and Mando make a good team. For sure.
Right, exactly. It was good. Yeah, I really enjoyed a lot of it. Mando not been there, it might not have been quite as good as I thought it was. Because I think honestly, just his presence in the scenes elevates it for me. That's just something I can say for myself. That character just elevates everything for me. And you make a good point, Greedo, too. It's like, I want to see how I feel about this later tonight when I watch it on my own. For the second time, without the group, without us kind of laughing.
I have this feeling that the first half is not very rewatchable.
Yeah,
I just don't. I'm
kind of thinking that too.
The first half, the second half where the confrontations mattered. As soon as Cad Bane showed up in the first half and said, "I'm here to negotiate," I was like, "Really? We're going to spend half of the last episode negotiating again? What is there left to negotiate?" I mean, you just blew up people that were under Boba Fett's protection. What is there left to talk about? You come guns blazing, or you don't show your face. Right. Is the way it should have been. And when the minute they drop negotiation, I understand you got to establish a little more, and there's talk. But Finnick holding Boba back, I get what she was doing and stuff, but there's just miscues in the characters that. And this is the last big critique I'm going to make of this show. Okay, just to try to stay positive and everything, because I like the show. I cannot get behind stupid characters.
I know, ever. Yeah.
Unless they're just so much fun and they're so intentionally stupid, and it's part of their thing, that
part of their shtick,
or whatever, But when they're supposed to be the best and clever, and they do dumb stuff, and there's no explanation, I don't even necessarily blame the characters, because everyone in that universe accepts them as clever and resourceful. We just never see it because the writing is not there. And that's what there's consistency in things that I pan. And it usually has to do with questioning the characters and like, why are they doing that? And I've questioned Boba Fett this whole time. And now I'm even questioning Finnick's hand, because she seemed all over the place in this episode. And I feel like they're just swimming against the tide of rushed ideas, and that's where the disjointed stuff comes in. Less is more. These characters needed to speak less, do less, and they needed to be more direct. Even if you needed to set up 10-pin villains in their way for them to knock down, that would have been better than the endless kind of swimming against this tide of stupid. And I don't want to go any further into it than that, except that I wasn't impressed with I think we've discussed it, where I said, I'm waiting for Boba to be cunning. I want to see some cunning. He was cunning. That was his number one or number two trait in Empire. He's the guy that outthought Han Solo. He's the guy that had the street smarts the Empire failed to have. He's the bounty hunter of all the ones in the galaxy that brought Han Solo in, even with the interference of the Empire and everything. Regardless of what you say about it, he had to be cunning. That's his thing. And there's just the cunning from episode 1 or 2, like when he asked the Rodian, you want me to cut you loose? That's just not cunning. You know, he's not using that situation to his advantage. He's not being a survivor. He's surviving by nature of his very nature in the story, but a survivor doesn't do that, doesn't set himself up for the Rodian to betray him, and doesn't set himself up for the Triad heads to betray him, and doesn't just keep walking blindly into these things. You know, there's no cunning. And
see, I think they could have kept that cunning characteristic and the brutality
he's still noble
of the character, yes, and still maintain his nobility. And
you don't
show
have
a
to be
story arc.
dumb to be good. Yeah,
You
Right.
can still show a story arc where he learns about leadership and in a tribal community mentality rather than just being a loner, and still maintain the power of the character in terms of his intelligence, his smarts, and his willingness to use brutality when it's necessary, which would have been much more in keeping with the character. They just went too far in trying to make him, to transform him into
he was
the
too
hero.
passive. He let things, like you said, he let people make decisions. He let things happen to him. He was always open to discussion and being swayed. And even in this episode, the mods sway him. And I get it. He's still learning. And they're teaching him, like, the people expect this from leadership, not for you to be on a castle on a hill, but to be down in the trenches with them. And that's a very good point. But it's late in the game. You know, it is late in the game in the last episode for them to suddenly step up. It's like, I felt like he did when he said, "What are you talking about? That's nonsense." You know, like, you guys don't really get a vote at this point. You know, the chips are down, and you need to shut up and do what we tell you, not be trying to, you know, impart some lesson or whatever. But I'm going, it sounds like I'm being really negative. I'll have to watch it again.
Yeah.
But the
Same
failings
here.
of the show to me is the characters, and a lot, and just the relationships, and just something being off. And it's not just because I wanted a badass Boba Fett. A lot of people are going to get that critique, just like Last Jedi, when they say all you wanted was a perfect badass Luke. Well, I wanted a badass Luke, but I never expected a perfect Luke, because he isn't. He's never been.
He's not. Yeah.
Yeah, and I never had that expectation of being perfect. I didn't have an expectation of Boba Fett just being an unstoppable machine and mowing through everyone, you know, because they've never built a show like that yet. Mandalorian takes a beating every single episode.
Every
He's
time.
the most beaten guy in the galaxy, you know.
Yeah, he gets his butt kicked
never
every
wins.
Fight.
Yeah, he never freaking wins without help. He's a loner who always needs help, and that's one of the interesting, you know, things about the show. But they show you that instead of talking about it, and he still remains at his core kind of a strong character, and he learns the give and take and the bartering of you know, doing things for other people, gets things done for him. And it was just awkward in this show. Boba Fett's not the same character. He isn't Mandalorian. I just don't feel like he should be going on that same kind of journey, but my feelings don't enter into it. I just feel like the writing wasn't there to make me respect these characters' decisions enough, to where I can just say, yay, I'm on board with all the mayhem and fun, because I'm too thinking about, you know, it's too distracting, that it's like, what are you guys doing? That whole plan at the beginning was the biggest bunch of nonsense I ever heard. Like, it just reeked of them just going, well, we have these things to work with, so let's just do this and this and this and kill the first half of the episode. And like, the pig guards died the most useless death, you know. That was so avoidable. And the second later, Boba was like, we need to rally our troops. It's like, well, yeah, you just left them out there to be.
Yeah, you just left them out there to get slaughtered.
Nothing. Yeah, because you just wasted your resources. And Finnick looked dumb then too. She's like, we'll never overcome their advantage now. It's like, well, didn't you think that was a major weakness in your plan? You know, that this could have happened. And then, I'm sorry, but you know, this is the kind of stuff I think of. They have this awesome badass final scene where she takes out the whole room, and I'm serious. Why not do that from the beginning?
Yeah.
That's been the question from the beginning. I understand ruling with respect, but some people gotta go. You know, if you can't get respect and they don't understand that because they are unshakable in their ways of betrayal and greed,
and
you gotta clear the debts.
People. Yeah.
You didn't try to get respect from Bib Fortuna because you knew what kind of scumbag he was. And these people are scumbags. You need to give their underlings a chance to be indebted to you, but they're never going to do it. So they got to go, you know, and we could have just avoided all this mess with if the baddest ass assassin in the galaxy, evidently, one of them, you know, just send her in there to clean house. She did it by herself.
She did it by herself. Yeah. Took out the whole room and the guards outside by herself.
Yeah. And what would happen if they did that first? And all the Pikes are like, "Where's our orders?" And the droids are like, "What are we supposed to be doing here?" You know, I don't know. It's just the plot and the writing. It doesn't hold up. I'd have to think about it, but it doesn't seem to hold up. But
yeah,
I don't think that's going to be ultimately the legacy of this show. This show's going to be more about fun, and you're going to have to take the positives away from it, that they gave
I agree.
older lead a leading role, and a legacy actor and character a leading role, and they tried to develop that character, do something different. They gave us cinema. At its best, it was cinema. At its worst, it was clunky looking television. And so, and I think there's a lot of scheduling and budget things that we'll never know that make those contrasts in there. You know, it kind of, to me, it seems like something that is edited together a lot instead of necessarily. But the episodes where they had a full plan stand out. Episode 2 felt like there was not a misstep the whole time. The 2 episodes where it just felt like the budget, the writing, the pacing, the implications, everything were just spot on in episodes 5 and 6.
Yeah.
So I think you just got to take it for what it is. And now I'm going to shut up. but so watching it with you guys, I enjoyed the hell out of it.
Right.
I'm super glad this series happened. I like Boba Fett. I don't hate him or anything.
Exactly.
I just wish he was a little more cunning.
Developed. Yeah.
Right. I think he's just
better developed. More
I think he was developed fine. He just needed to respond differently and show
more consistent.
They needed to worry less about the other characters and making them shine. Just like you said, they're doing things that he should be doing. He should have been more of a man of action, and that's it. I think that would have solved so many things, you know. But seeing him whoop ass with the gaffy stick and then riding the Rancor at the end really did restore a lot. And he stood behind his convictions, whatever they were.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't relent or anything. And I even thought there was times where he's like, when he said, "You sure you don't want to leave?" He gave Mando chances to leave, which is the new Fett. And then Mando said, "No, I'm stuck." And I thought Boba would say, "I release you, you know, from your promise." Instead, he said, "Okay, good."
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, that is still, you know, that's the Boba Fett in the show.
Right.
It's kind of bumbling around and still, you know, not really doing things on his own, but it's also kind of, you know, a little bit cynical and stuff. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But there was great action. There was some comedy. It had the action, the comedy. The Rancor gets a 10.
What about do you have anything more about overview?
About what?
Like about an overview of the episode of your response to it?
No, I mean, honestly, I really do agree with pretty much everything Greedo's saying here. There's no reason to repeat all that.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Do you think our expectations were raised by 5 and 6 to where this suffered? Like everybody said, everybody kind of had I think in retrospect, people may have had a legit criticism saying taking the focus off Boba Fett so much may have ultimately.
I think so. I was even
a
thinking about it while we were watching the episode. You know, I was like, you know what, when you start a series and you do a slow burn like this, but then when you get to the point in 5 and 6 where you are putting all the cards out there and you've got, you know, you're playing the Luke card and the Grogu card and the Din Djarin card, and then suddenly the finale, you have to top that. And they couldn't top that. No. So they naturally had to take a couple of
one
steps
episode
back.
with make your choice.
Right.
And everyone's like, wow, what is he going to choose? And then this next episode, we end in a place where it's like, you get the feeling everybody just went, ha ha, Wookiee. Okay, anyway, we'll see you later. And they just wander off. You know, like, I don't even want to be there with those people. You know what I mean?
Right. I know,
like, in the Return of the Jedi, I wanted to hang out at the party and celebrate with everyone. Everyone looked bored. You know, like, oh, the Wookiee got a fruit, you know.
Yeah.
It just didn't even look like a great place to be. You know, I don't even want to live in that town. So
definitely not. Yeah.
So not being too harsh, but there's a difference there.
Yeah, I agree. And I guess moving forward, I think well, let me ask first of all, I got two things. One, let me ask the question I was going to ask earlier. First of all, where did he pull the gaffy stick from?
It was on his back the whole time.
Was
on
it?
his back?
Yeah.
I never saw it. Okay.
Okay, I didn't.
I
Either.
completely
I
never
was
saw it. Like, how
surprised, yeah.
No,
are
it
you going to
was.
hide a gap I stick up your sleeve? You know?
No, you just weren't. I was looking for it because if you
Okay.
guys remember, one of my predictions was he was going to go hand to hand with Cad
He was going to go
Bane
hand to hand with
wail
Cad
on
Bane
him with the
gaffy
gaffy stick.
Yep, and
I
he
think
did.
that's the only thing I got right.
And so the other thing is the observation I made. I feel like what the filmmakers are doing at this point, if we're going to get a season 2, I think we're going to get a completely different show. I think Boba Fett and Fennec are going to leave Tatooine, and it's going to be them traveling around the galaxy taking jobs. Whether it's taking jobs or running their own thing, we'll see. But if you look at the dialogue there at the end of the episode, they kept saying, "This is not for us." She goes, "Well, if not us, then who?" And then they show Cobb Vanth.
Right.
In the back
Cobb
to
Vanth
Tank.
will be in charge of
So it could be
Tatooine,
Cobb
yeah.
Vanth will
Because
run
he
the
really
things.
is doing more of a Cobb Vanth thing. Cobb Vanth was destroying
Cobb
the
Vanth
drugs
is a
and not
deputy.
making money off.
He is
He
the
wasn't
marshal,
for sale.
you know.
And now Boba Fett is not for sale, and he's the one destroying drugs. So they're on the same page. They like become the same.
Yeah.
They started off wearing the same armor.
Mhm.
And they've become kind of the same person, both
Right.
heroes, the people that inspire people. Yeah, I think you're right. I think some people may come and say, "Can you come do for us what you did on Tatooine?" I think it could be a recurring thing with Pike.
Right, where they go around and clean house. Yeah.
Yeah. And again, some of the old bounty hunters might be like, "What are you guys doing? Are you coming after us? You killed Cad Bane. Are you coming after us
Right.
next?" And Boba Fett may have to tell them, "No, I actually want to elevate us," but
I could use your help if
And
you want to
that
get it.
might
Yeah.
be an opportunity to bring in some of the other bounty hunters that we were hoping would show up in this finale, but that was really kind of too much to hope to stuff all that in there.
And there's no way they're letting that Wookiee character drop.
No.
That Chrysanthemum. We're in no way have we seen the last of him.
Yeah, he'll be working with them.
Yeah, you can bring in whole like Wookiee culture and all kinds of things in his backstory and stuff that could get them involved in things.
Agreed.
Because I think this is becoming like a brotherhood kind of thing where they're going to start doing things for each other.
Mm-hmm.
You could have a whole plot of, Chrysanthemum suddenly wants to go find his family or something, and then he finds out they're in trouble and the Boba Fett helps him. There's just endless stuff you could do.
Exactly. No, I agree. So, yeah. Okay. So you want to go ahead and do our ratings?
I want to talk about some positives of the show first.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Before we get to our rankings.
Sure.
Because we've been talking largely about negatives, and
I have.
I
always end up being
I
this
think I
soldier of
brought it up
negativity.
first, maybe, or no, you did first, and then then we begin to elaborate on it. I liked. Okay, why don't we? I'll hold off on that since the show ends with that. I was going to talk about Baby Yoda and Mando, but maybe we wait for that. What about the fight aspects of the city fight, like Chrysanthemum and the attack of the Rancor? I mean, even before, and the two Mandalorians working together, even before we got the arrival of the Rancor. I know I was down on how I was underwhelmed by the beginning of that fight, but there were some really good parts.
Oh yeah, that part was really cool. I really enjoyed that.
To see two Mandalorians working back to back and using their armor and their different weaponry and everything is something we've dreamed of, to see how the weapons and the armor worked for decades. So that was really neat.
No, I love that. That was really cool.
And Chrysanthemum was wonderful. I thought at first he was taken down too quickly, because I thought when they all swarmed him and he was.
I thought that was it. Yeah.
But yeah.
I was hoping it wasn't. I was afraid one of them was going to emerge with his head, like they saw him
Right.
and then took his head out. Because it was getting kind of Game of Thrones there for a minute.
Yeah.
There was some vicious stuff going on. I thought they might turn down that road and kill more of his allies and stuff, but
yeah.
No, that was great. I have every time he's on screen, I thought it was awesome. And you the way you said he's still going or whatever he said. It's like that guy took as big a beating as Mando, almost. Mando got thrown to the Earth's core. I mean, he got smashed.
He didn't have armor. I mean, he didn't really have much armor, did he?
Black
That could repel, that could repel laser fire, and he's just walking out in the middle of the street.
He's just 90% badass or something. It was
Yeah,
mass.
exactly.
And he already took an axe in the back at the very
Axe in the
beginning.
back, yeah.
It just, I don't know. Most of it just pisses him off, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
It
So he
makes
doesn't
him
feel
stronger.
pain.
He's a tank. He has a lot of hit points or whatever.
Right.
A lot of
Yeah,
health,
he's got a
you know,
lot of hit
depending on
points.
what game you play or video game you play. He's just very
Right.
I'm
very
really
hard to
looking
take down.
forward to him coming back. If we
Oh
have
yeah,
another
me too.
season of this
I love
show.
that. He was one of the highlights of the whole season.
Yeah, I want to
Yeah,
see more
I
of
enjoyed
him.
that character very much.
I wish they had put subtitles though, where Boba said all that nice stuff to him, and he just F you back to him. I'm never working for you again, pal. Look at me.
Exactly. This is how you run things.
Yeah, you put me out there alone with a whole bunch of Trandoshans. It's actually a lot of
Exactly.
fun, but I got to kill a bunch of them.
Okay, what about the Rancor? The Rancor was wonderful.
Love the Rancor.
I wasn't expecting it when it came in. I was expecting it to be more like later in the battle. I thought, like you, Carillion, said when Boba Fett disappeared, that he was going to get the Tuscans, and
I did too.
Still disappointed.
I had no idea what he was doing.
No,
Yeah.
I didn't know. He was
I thought maybe he'd come back with the pig guards or something, like they had fallen on trampoline or something. I just didn't think of the Rancor for some reason. And
Yeah, I didn't either. I completely didn't. I put the Rancor out of my
Tuskens.
mind.
I knew it couldn't be Tuscans because that would be so dumb without establishing them.
I agree. No, I
yeah,
agree.
They
Had
had
come
no
back.
background. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, if Cad Bane in the first meeting had said, "Yeah, they slaughtered your buddies" or whatever, and then it's shown the flashback, and Boba Fett had said, "Well, that shows what you know, Cad," you know, and they had come up with some kind of counter plan where he had saved a bunch of them, and they just never showed us or something. Then there would have been a setup, you know, or if they had come with the people of Freetown or something, you know, there'd been all the horns and you saw the banthas coming.
Yeah,
you can't just have him go get them without, you know, that's way too sudden. You know, you have to establish it somehow. So I didn't think that was happening. Plus, I think the show. You can kind of see where the budget goes. The budget went to the Rancor, it felt like, and the squibs and the practical effects in the gunfight and stuff, which I'm sure was very expensive and involved. You know, took a lot of time. But the Rancor was flawless. I mean, I didn't know what he was going to look like when he got out.
Yeah, it was really, really well done.
And
it was
yeah,
really
he was
effective.
blended perfectly with the environment. He was in full sunlight, and I never doubted he was right there,
right,
at any given time.
And
but in a trade-off with that, you have one car show up with an army. It's like we're pinning all of our hopes. As soon as our foot soldiers arrive, we'll have enough forces to counterattack. A car,
one
SUV
SUV of people.
Yeah, one person wants to stop off at Arby's or whatever, and your whole plan is screwed. You know, because it's a car. It's a literal car. If one tire blows, you're dead because it's just a car. There's no army. But
exactly.
One thing they did well with the Rancor too, that at first annoyed me, but then once we got the Rancor actually eating some people and trying to eat people at the end, I was satisfied. It was that they pitted the Rancor against the robot army. And that's a way that they get away with a lot of violence without bloodshed, you know, in Star Wars.
Oh, sure.
The droid warriors, the Jedi can mow down droid warriors.
Yeah, droids,
you know,
left and right. It's not like you're slaughtering people.
Yeah. And yet the fights between the Rancor and particular robots were really compelling and cool.
They went back and forth. It wasn't just the Rancor wailing on the droids.
It looked like a smackdown
matchup
of monsters. It was a kind of like almost a kaiju type.
And I will toot my own horn. I kind of predicted that too. I said,
you did.
I just picked a Gundark for.
You just figured it'd be another creature.
I was thinking of what's another big monster they could have.
But it's basically the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it was very similar. I didn't think about a droid or whatever, but I knew they'd have something. I thought Bob was going to ride the Rancor, that'd be the end. It's like, well, the Rancor's got to fight something, you know, besides just mowing through people. So I thought they'd have something in reserve that would surprise us, and that was but once that's how I was watching the episode, and once I saw those droids, it didn't even occur to me the Rancor would fight them, because even though I had predicted it, kind of, I was in the moment, you know, and I just didn't even think about it. But I thought there'd be a big monster fight. Boba would get knocked off his steed, and the monster would be fighting, and then he'd face off with Cad Bane, and that's almost exactly what happened. Which is very, it's very predictable, actually. You know, I mean, what do you expect to happen at the end?
But it was fun and well done. And the Rancor trying to eat the best armor.
That was great.
Was awesome.
Yeah. And I just had that quick premonition like a few seconds before it happened. I was like, he's gonna try and eat him. I just had that in my head, and he did. Like,
Well, he's been eaten by a crate dragon.
Yeah, I know.
You know,
He's
he's
already
been eaten
done
by
that.
every creature so far.
Exactly. That's a good point. Yeah. Yeah. No, everything about the Rancor I thought was great. I really, really enjoyed. That was the high point of the whole episode, I thought.
My favorite Rancor moment for sure, and my favorite moment possibly the whole episode, was when he grabbed the one dude and held him up, and Boba Fett shot him.
Yes, held him up, and Boba Fett shot him.
And then he tossed him like an action
Yeah, and then threw
figure.
him literally like blocks away.
Yeah, and they did the Wilhelm. I think I could hear that in the background.
Oh, did it go with the Wilhelm?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think they do that in there. Or I was imagining it, but that was just cool. It's like they tromp on people in almost every way you can think of to tromp on people with a Rancor. So I give them that. This is what I expected from the show. You know,
Yeah.
is just full out. Think of every way you can do it and do it. That was awesome. All right, so let's talk about Grogu and his presence in this episode.
Why don't we do Cad Bane first?
Okay.
Grogu, since the episode ends with Grogu.
Well, I think I got to give the floor to Carillion on Cad Bane.
Yeah, tell us about your reaction to Cad Bane.
I loved it. I mean, I'm disappointed he got killed, but I'm not disappointed from a story standpoint. I think it would have been a little bit more I don't know, predictable if he'd have gotten away there at the end or something to fight another day or whatever. I think it was interesting that he met his end at Boba Fett's hand. And we've already established that, or at least in the research I did, we've established that Duros, which is the alien species he is, they have similar lifetimes to humans, similar lifespans to humans. So it's not like, some, like a Wookiee, can be 200 plus years old, or whatever, it's normal.
So
but
he's
with a
at the
Duro,
end or near
he's
the
literally in his 70s. So it'd be like a human in his 70s right now. So he's like the aged, Clint Eastwood in Unforgiven or something, basically.
He's pretty much looking for someone faster than him to take him down at this point.
Right, because that's the way
he's thinking about.
Destined to go out. Yeah, exactly.
He's like, where's the guy going to show up? I just keep besting everyone no matter what I do.
Right.
And it's getting kind of old. Yeah, he's almost himself tired of it.
I loved it. I mean, obviously, I got live action Cad Bane, and I've been, hoping against hope that would happen. It's now happened. So yeah, I loved it. I thought that the characterization was perfect because obviously, using the same voice actor was perfect, because you get that similarity from Clone Wars.
I'd love to hear how he feels about it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly.
Having done his last scene as an old Cad Bane. Cad Bane can still come around.
He can still be in Bad Batch because he was in last season of Bad Batch. Yeah, because we can still see more Cad Bane in animated form. But yeah, it was great. It was just fantastic to see Cad Bane. I thought he brought, and I think Greedo said it best, like, it's like a real villain arrived finally on the show, when Cad Bane showed up. And so for the last couple of episodes, we've actually had that sense of menace. He had that presence that when he walked into the screen, you just like, woo, you kind of sit back like, oh, okay, it's about to get serious.
Yeah. I love how they
got real.
I love how they nailed too that kind of trope in a way, but it's always works. When the henchman is superior to the bosses, like when he walked in the room and those guys were all cowering in that room and they're all delusional talking about their stuff, and he's like, you guys aren't even on the same page as me. He was a little surprised. He's like, you guys are more ruthless than I thought, but you don't know what that means. You don't know what it means to.
You don't know what that's going to bring down
family.
On you.
Yeah, you don't understand yet. And he's smirking at everyone, and he just knows. He knows he's superior to everyone. And that's always effective if you can pull it off. And he really pulled it off. And
the body language was true to the animated character as well. I liked that, his movements, the things he did. There was a shot in the last episode that I didn't mention on our wrap up, which was after he shot Cobb Vanth and then gave his little speech to the town. It's like, as long as the spice runs, nobody will be bothered. Everybody will be left alone. And the way he turned with the jacket tails sort of flapping behind him, that was literally Clone Wars Cad Bane right there. The way he turned, I was like, oh, they've got the mannerisms down. They've got it figured out. So yeah, they did this. So yeah, that's my spiel on Cad Bane. It was nearly flawless.
What do you have to say, Gundar, about it?
The final confrontation I really liked because of it's fitting with the story arc for Boba of an evolution to a different ethic, for him to follow, a different code for him to follow. Because even though we didn't get the storyline in Clone Wars that they were supposed to do of Cad Bane being a mentor to Boba Fett when he was a kid as a bounty hunter, they tried to imply that through the dialogue where Bubba told him, "I'm not a child, I'm not a kid anymore."
Right.
And Cad Bane throwing it against him. What it seemed like he learned from Cad Bane when he was a kid and was mentored by him is to not show weakness and be a loner. And if you show any type of compassion or connection to others, it opens you up to weakness. And Cad Bane pokes on all those points in him that from that wonderful episode 2 in the show that he had evolved beyond. And so he comes to the point where he has to look at his former self embodied in his old mentor and decide, am I going to follow that old way or am I going to go with the new way? And so I like that decision aspect. If he had been, though, more brutal in the show up to that point, when he got smacked down by Cad Bane and made to feel a boy again, when he's just shooting him. And I love when he's shooting him, it looked like he was deliberately just picking him to where he was disabling him without killing him.
Right.
Because he wanted to disable him. He wanted to put him down and make him feel humiliated before he killed him.
Right.
And to have Boba Fett humiliated in that way, it would have been more effective if prior to that he had been a little more badass in the show, even as he was learning and evolving. It would have been maybe more, oh, what a shock to see him brought down by this mentor, and maybe had more of a emotional impact when he did make his final decision. But I like him fighting back with the gaffy stick, because using the gaffy stick then goes back to what he learned in episode 2, and then
it kind of comes full circle with that.
Yeah. So I thought all that was really well done. If they just had a little bit more consistent character development of Boba throughout the series to lead up to that. But still, it was a wonderful confrontation. I was shocked, though. I wasn't expecting, because just like you guys said, when Cad Bane entered, it was like the villain's finally here. I wasn't expecting him to go so quickly.
Right.
But it did seem like it was the right.
I wish they brought him in episode 3.
Right. Yeah. We got a little bit more of him, a few more
bit
episodes with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It's interesting too, though, that Cad Bane fell victim to the old villain trope of talking too much.
Yeah.
Considering he's always been a bounty hunter of action. It's like, he doesn't say anything. He just kills
but wait
people.
a minute. If you
I don't agree on that.
What Greedo was saying about he's an older gunslinger who is kind of facing his end.
No, I get why they did it. Yeah.
Take him down.
Yeah.
He almost like deliberate. He keeps pushing Boba Fett's buttons deliberately in everything he says. So it is like he's challenging.
It's like he was
him.
subconsciously asking for it.
Yeah, he's challenging the person that he mentored.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
Plus, this is why he does this stuff.
Yeah,
he finds his enjoyment wherever he finds it, and no one's going to understand what Cad Bane enjoys. And you can always tell when someone, like you said, the villain's talking too much, a Bond villain or whatever. I'm telling you, my master plan is killing you. This felt different to me. It really felt personal. And it wasn't overconfidence. He really had him beat. And
no, he really did.
But also, I think when he said, "Let's just do this now," and then I think he was willing to accept whatever outcome happened. Cad Bane, he just kind of was smirking. It panned out the way he thought, where he was better, faster, whatever. But I also think that scene encapsulates the whole show because it's all about Boba Fett losing his armor, all about Boba Fett losing his identity, all about bounty hunter versus something new. And we have the ultimate bounty hunter left standing, Cad Bane, against whatever Boba Fett is becoming. He disarms him, symbolically robs him of his visage, the mystery, strips him down. And then, but according to the bounty hunter code, it's over. And this guy wins. Because anything extraneous is a weakness, and you're going to be taken down by your weakness. But the theme of the show is he's learned things, and he's armed himself and equipped himself with experience and knowledge that Cad Bane has never seen any value in. and that's where he pulls out the gaffy stick that isn't a gift from his father. It's something he earned on his own, and that's how he wins the fight.
Right.
So I'm not saying they necessarily needed to encapsulate the whole show or the theme and keep recurring these themes, but that's what it was. It was a little encapsulation of the whole thing.
Yeah, agreed.
That's why I liked it.
And it was well done. I love this. I love the cinematic flair of the different fades over Boba standing over Cad Bane's body.
Yeah.
I gave it some significance and coolness for both
And
characters.
then the final shot of Cad Bane without his hat.
Yeah.
As he's lying there at the that was good.
And I hope they gave him a decent burial, but or in his body or something. But it would have been awful if like a bunch of kids run out and stripped his body and stuff. And it's
right.
But no, I did want to say I'm not the Cad Bane fan. You are. Obviously, I've mocked you for your Cad Banery in the past.
Cad Banery.
But I was sad to see him go. But
yeah,
I was glad for Boba Fett because as soon as he stood over him with the gaffy stick and he said, "I knew you were a killer," I thought he was going to say, "Shows what you know. You're going to jail for a very long time. We're going to put you in carbonite now or whatever." I thought for sure he was going to spare his life, and no, he just took him out.
Yeah,
and and I thought that was great. That's the kind of thing I wanted to see from Boba Fett.
But I was glad to see that Greedo became a convert to the Cad Bane.
Oh, yeah, I'm a huge
Cad Vanity
live action fan for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. The only thing that would have been better as far as the personification and live action of him is if they'd at least had a scene with a toothpick. Because in so many scenes in Clone Wars, he's always got that toothpick sticking out of his mouth. I can see him just walking up right before a scene, just take it and throw it away, and then do the scene. Just to have an homage to the toothpick.
Or if they'd shown it on the ground or something.
Right. Right.
But I almost have a feeling that this is how far we've gone with the anti-smoking thing. That they won't even let a character have anything that implies a cigarillo, because the toothpick is a Clint Eastwood used to have the cigarette,
of course,
the cigar and all that.
Yeah, it's symbolic
or tobacco, chewing tobacco. They won't let anybody do anything like that anymore. So I almost feel like they just said, we're not even going to address that. Just take it out.
Yep, exactly. I agree.
That might not be the
He
case at all.
didn't need it though. He was just
no, he didn't need it. I just
he was
nitpicking.
But yeah, I loved his smirking, and they gave him so much expression. And this goes along with the strengths of Star Wars, that there was a lot of shots in this episode where Boba Fett was acting through a helmet somehow. And the camera and the music and the editing all worked together, that you knew what Boba Fett was thinking. And Cad Bane, being an alien and a strange, he's not wearing a mask, but it's almost like he is, and it's an actor probably wearing a mask. And they gave him so much emotion or inflection in his face that he did tons of different smirks. It wasn't just one.
Yeah.
The way his lips moved and his eyes narrowed and stuff was just, for a character with no nose and no recognizable ears or anything, you know what I mean, that we normally look for cues. Eyebrows not really existent so much. The way they made his mouth express so many things was just phenomenal. I
really well done.
His smirks were just incredible. So yeah.
All right, so Grogu.
I thought Grogu was great.
I thought it was too. I was shocked that he came back without Luke, though. I thought that was kind of that aggravated me, as a kind of bait and switch, to have the R2 and the X-wing.
R2 and the X-wing, and then turns out it's just R2's Uber service.
It really would have been, as much as I would have liked to see Luke on Tatooine, it really would have been too much when you're trying to wrap up a Boba Fett show. So
I agree. Yeah, I think it would have taken away from it. That's why I never believed that Luke was going to come in to save the day at the end, because that would have been completely, opposite of the whole point of it being a Book of Boba Fett. It's not the Book of Luke Skywalker.
I thought if he showed up, he'd be in a space battle, so that he'd be completely removed from the ground and
from
any consideration. He'd have Grogu with him, and then after the space battle and after the ground battle,
then they would land.
We would have a corresponding scene from the season 2 where he'd hand the child back.
Yeah,
and that would be basically that. And I loved the idea of Boba Fett and Luke crossing paths again. I said in my prediction,
Yeah.
Rancor and Boba Fett and Luke are all going to give each other a look, which is not the same Rancor, I know, but I
Yeah.
and then just kind of shrug it off, like, you know, you killed my
What
great
about
uncle with a
what about the
door.
reunion with Mendo?
What's that?
Happening in the reunion
Oh, it was
with
great.
Mando
Oh yeah, I thought it was great. Yeah.
in the middle
They
of the
did it in
battle.
the-
I
In the
love
middle of
it.
the battle, yeah, it was completely unexpected, but it
And
worked.
Grogu levitating in the Mando.
Yeah, they still
Yeah.
managed to make it cute as hell, and
And still not take away from the story.
Grogu gets away with murder. Let's face it.
Oh yeah.
As the most fan servicey, over the top, ridiculously cute character, and it doesn't matter. He can do anything.
You can do
He
anything.
He ate freaking dung worms or whatever they were.
Yeah,
in the episode, and it
exactly.
was
Dung
fine.
worms.
And I did like the control over the force that he showed, even though he still has to take a nap after you.
Yeah, he still has to take a nap
He's
afterwards.
obviously much more control of it.
Yeah.
And I liked the Beskar armor. I'm surprised we didn't get to see it used in this, but
Me
guess
too.
that
I
was a
really
bit
expected to see that. Mhm.
It may have protected him from all the falls and stuff like that, but it didn't really make a point of something. I guess when he force drew the big cog to himself and it hit him in the chest, it probably protected him there too. But yeah, that was great how he just pulled the one piece off the leg, and
Yeah.
those droids were hard to stop. I thought
They
every
really
time I thought
were.
they were beat, they kept coming back,
And they kept coming
that was
back,
pretty cool.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
made it a
Yeah.
hard fight.
Yeah, no kidding.
I guess
But
they're going to save the Beskar armor and maybe, of course, the Darksaber. I was surprised to see the Darksaber come out in the middle of the battle against the droids, which was cool. But I guess they're going to save Grogu's connection to all that until Mando season 3, which is appropriate.
Probably so.
Yeah.
And all I want to say about Grogu is he's money. He's just
yeah.
money. Every time they made him green because they can just print money
they can
with this character. Yeah, it's just Grogu Franklin is his name.
Grogu Franklin.
He's Hundies. Just throw him out because
Hundies.
he's an automatic win. You know, just a W. And in their defense, they give us good quality Grogu all the time.
Yeah, no, they
even when he's on the edge of being overused, they don't quite go over the edge.
Right.
And so far, there's no such thing.
No.
And
Hopefully never
he's
will
just
be.
money in every scene, and the Rancor in him was awesome. That was a great
Yeah, agreed.
moment. I don't know how an episode can have so many great moments, and I still feel weird about it. But you know,
And the final scene
reality
too,
we're in.
when they go off aboard Mando's new ship, that was wonderful with the callbacks to them aboard the Razor Crest together and stuff that went on, like him tapping in the window and being the toddler who's still annoying and trying to get Dad's attention. It was
And it made me remember too that when the Razor Crest blew up, that was the one piece he took out of the wreckage was the ball.
Yeah.
Was the ball. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, wow, okay. I knew at the time they were, you know, because he was separated from Grogu at that point.
Right.
I knew that ball was symbolic of Grogu and everything, but
Mhm.
then bringing it back into play and then giving it back to him shows just how thoughtful Mando is. You know, and
Right,
the child
exactly.
is always on his mind, and he doesn't keep that much close to himself, but he kept that ball.
Yeah.
You know, he's not sentimental, but I'm sure he misses his Razor Crest, and that's part of it. But he really kept that because it had significance to the child. It made him think of the child. Yeah.
Right.
And the first thing he does when he wants to calm him down instead of a pacifier is he gives him that ball. And I thought that's cool. That's clever, you know, character work there.
Mhm.
And,
Yeah, that was good.
and it's you know, Mando's a manly dad. He's
Yeah.
it'd be so easy for him to be just wussified by the child.
Oh, yeah.
But they managed to still make him, you know,
Mhm.
tough and everything, while still being a considerate
See,
guardian.
we were worried too about what was going to happen with the Mandalorian after the departure of Grogu because the relationship between those two characters was the heart of the show. And I think that this series did do a good job of making it convincing, bringing them back together in a way that seems like there will be a natural story arc for them to follow through.
And you know what else they
in
did?
The next season.
Yeah, I agree.
They brought them back together without missing a single episode. of
Yeah.
The Mandalorian.
No, you're right. There wasn't a single
Which
episode without
you
him.
never would have predicted. I would have thought they would at most been together at the end of episode 1 of season 3. Like they have to go through a journey to get back together. This, they just said, yeah, let's do Book of Boba Fett. And while we're at it, let's get the money.
Bring them back together.
Let's get the money back.
Yeah.
Let's
Well,
get the
technically, I
Mandalorian
guess
together.
episode 5, they weren't together, but yeah.
No, I mean, yeah, but that's Book of Boba Fett. That's not Mandalorian.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I thought you
we're
meant
going
even
from-
including the episodes.
No, we're going from the
Yeah,
finale of season 2 to
Gotcha.
the first
To the
episode
beginning of
episode
episode 3,
three,
they're
They're
going to be,
together.
there will be
If
no
you watch
episodes
the
apart.
Mandalorian
Yeah.
show, you would watch Luke walk out the door,
Yep.
and then the next episode they're back together.
They're back together. And if you hadn't seen Book of Boba Fett, you wouldn't even know how. Yeah.
This is perhaps the cleverest thing that they accomplished. with the Book of
Right,
Boba Fett
right,
that
exactly.
people may not even notice.
Exactly. All right, are we ready for ratings?
Sure.
Okay, I'll go first this time. I'll give it an 8.5.
This episode?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know why I have to ask that question. I was wondering if you meant the whole.
Yeah,
the
I'll
whole
say
show.
8.5 just for the standpoint that it was solid, it was good, but it was just, I thought it was a step or two back from the last 2 episodes.
Mhm.
I give it an 8.
Okay.
I gave the episode 2 an 8.5, which is still the best Boba-centric episode of the whole show to me. But I give it an 8 because it has so many wonderful strong points. I mean, you can't get better than the Rancor and Cad Bane's role in this, and they really found a good way to bring Grogu and Mando back together. The main disappointment is what we were saying all along about Boba's story arc. This seems like inconsistent or not well developed.
Yeah.
But still, enough strengths to give it an 8. I totally enjoyed it.
Yeah. Yeah, this episode had Cad Bane, R2D2, Cobb Vanth was in the after credit. He was even technically in this episode. Mando, Grogu, a Rancor going nuts, Chrysanthemum throwing down, Fennec Shan being a badass, Boba Fett being a badass. But I'm gonna give it a 6.5, a 6.5. And
Wow. Okay.
that is by no means a bad score. That is a high score. Anything to me over a 5. Mediocrity is right in the middle at 5. This isn't mediocre, but as it being the finale of a show, I think they banked too hard on the big moments for a person like me. This is just my perspective, and if there'd just been some tweaks and changes, this would have been a home run, and I would have nothing to downgrade it on. But I think 6.5 might be about right because I don't have this impulse to go rewatch it, like I did with the last 2 episodes immediately.
Mhm.
And I don't know, I almost feel like the first 20 minutes could have just been cut off and there would be no difference, and it would have made it more enjoyable actually, so I have issues with it that bring it down, but it's a solid 6.5 or 7 easy.
Yeah.
And it has some spectacular sequences that I will want to watch again, but not necessarily plow through the whole episode, to see. Like I'll watch the whole. There's certain parts of Star Wars movies that I skip to, that I want to see. Like if Revenge of the Sith is on, I'll skip to the opera scene because I want to see him talk about
That's great.
Darth Plagueis, or whatever. So I will always never get tired of the Rancor and all that, and the Grogu scenes were great. But I think we've seen a lot of it done better before, and the drawback on my first viewing is I'm very confused by how dumb the characters were portrayed, and that took me out of it quite a bit. So 6.5 or 7, but
Okay.
right now I'm gonna say 6.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I'll be interested to see if my ranking changes after I watch it again. I'll probably watch
Yeah,
it
that's
again
the whole
later
thing,
this evening and kind of see how I take it. But I agree with you, Greedo, because I don't, unlike the last 2 episodes, I don't feel that sort of like I want to watch that again.
Yeah,
I'm just going, I'll get to it. I'll watch it maybe later tonight or tomorrow. But yeah, the last 2 episodes, I watched them 3-4 times in the first 24 hours. I couldn't get enough.
yeah.
So,
But it was a quality episode.
sure.
It was quality. It maintained the quality. It went out on a proud note and stuff. But like I said, I didn't get the characters at the beginning, and at the end, when it ended, I didn't feel anything as far as I want to hang out with these guys for a weekend or
Yeah.
something. Like the end of
Right.
Star Wars, always just hits me. So like that is the most powerful ending of any Star Wars movie to me, is the first one. And then the end of Empire and the end of Jedi. Even if you don't like Ewoks, you still
you still want to be part of the celebration.
And the end of Mando season 2 was like just gutting. You know, like when it cuts in this elevator and you have that triumphant, the sad. So you can't really compare. The stakes in Book of Boba Fett aren't as high. I get that, but it kind of had a 70s TV vibe ending of like you expected them to laugh and it freeze. The credits.
Right, exactly.
So
exactly.
So, but this show overall, so happy they did it. Everybody complaining about it. Just remember, we had no clue it was even coming.
Yeah,
and unless you think it did damage, you know, and you just wish that it never happened, and you're just so offended, which I can feel that feeling. I mean, I can understand that from my perspective on certain things in Star Wars, but unless you're that crushed by it for some reason, there's way more good than bad. And
absolutely. All right, so I guess that's a wrap on Book of Boba Fett season 1. Hopefully we'll get a season 2. And I guess the next thing we have to look forward to is the Bad Batch, because I believe that's going to be the next thing coming up, rumored to be a Star Wars Day release. So we may have 2 or 3 months here without much content, but we should hit the ground running. At that point, it should be pretty much week after week with Bad Batch overlapping with Obi-Wan, because Obi-Wan's going to be end of May. So we'll definitely have some overlap with Bad Batch and Obi-Wan, and then we'll have Andor in the fall, and then hopefully either end of fall, beginning of January, beginning of 23, we'll have season 3 of Mandalorian. So anyway, well, thanks for taking the ride with us, guys. We appreciate all the comments and likes you've been giving us. Keep it going, and we'd like to hear your thoughts about the finale and the series overall. So we'll talk to you next time. Take care.
Watch out for grading the Borgullet.
Yeah, there will be grading of the Borgullet coming soon. I have a feeling it didn't do very well.